Hey there, are you getting ready to have a yard sale? Are you looking for a way to really make sure your yard sale is a success? Well, I'm going to share some tips with you that is helping me have a successful yard sale. Today is actually yard sale day, okay? It's a Saturday. It is, it's nice outside, and so we're going to have a yard sale. So what I want to share with you today are some tips to make it go well. Okay, so number one is you want to prepare early. As you're going throughout the year, right? Because you usually need to have a yard sale probably about twice a year, especially if you have kids. I've got two kids, they're growing, so they're always growing into things, growing out of things, and I have a boy and a girl, so there's no hand-me-downs really going on there. So you want to prepare early and just constantly be thinking, when kids are outgrowing things, or they're outgrowing toys or outgrowing clothes, or even if you're changing, you may be going through some major weight loss transformation, but you want to always kind of be thinking about how can you repurpose items in your home. And number two is you want to have a place to store them. So as you're collecting things and you're thinking, okay, my child has outgrown this pair of dress shoes. They've only worn them 2 times. Let me set these over here. So you have one place where you have your yard sale items, and it's not really all over the house. And so when it's time for the yard sale, you're not going through every room. It's already in that designated spot. Number three, you want to tell as many people as possible. And so I would advise about 2 to 3 weeks out that you really just start talking to people. You start talking to your neighbors, start talking to people in your church, different types of associations, because you want as many people there as possible. And then a few days before, depending on what your, you have to check your laws in your city, because there are actually some cities that have laws about having yard sale licenses and that sort of thing. So you definitely got to check that out, though, which is why you need to start early so you can check that out. But, a few days before, as much as far in advance as you can, depending on your laws, you want to start putting up the signage, saying yard sale on Saturday, or even some people have yard sales on Wednesday. I've noticed that there's midweek yard sales too. But anyway, so you want to make sure that you've got all signs pointing to your yard, okay? But the thing about it is you want to get the word out. You can put it on Craigslist. You can use some Eventbrite. So there's lots of different options that you can use to get the word out. Number 4, make sure you get change. Okay, you want to make sure you have some 1s, some 5s. You might want to have some quarters if you've got like little things like cars that you might sell for a quarter or something, right? So you want to make sure you get some change the night before, or definitely the night before, because doing it the morning of is really just terrible. Just don't do it. Get change the night before. Okay, 5, you want to go ahead and price your items. You can get these little dot thingies, and I don't have my little dot thingies in front of me right now. Where are my little dot things? They're probably with my stuff. But they're little dots, about that big. You can go to Staples or Office Max or something like that and get these different little multicolored little dots. And so you can price your items, and so people don't have to keep asking you, how much is this, how much is this, how much is this, okay? So price your items as much as possible. Or you might have everything on this table is $5, everything on this table is $2. So some way for people to know how much stuff is, instead of continually have to ask you when you're trying to service different people. Number 6 is you definitely want to make sure your yard sale is organized. If you've got various things, so you might have a girl section, a boy section, a toy section, women's section, however you want to organize that, so that everything is together, and it's just easier to negotiate. You've gone to some yard sales where people just got stuff everywhere, and it's just difficult to look through. But if you can organize it in some way to where you can make it more appealing. It's kind of like when you go shopping in a store that you like to go to. If it's all cluttered and stuff, you just just don't want to do that. So try to have it as neat and as organized as possible. And you know, that'll just make it more inviting for people. And my last tip is have a way to take credit cards, okay? Especially if you've got big ticket items to sell. You want to have a way to take credit and debit cards because that makes things so much easier. You think about that. If you're trying to sell a bed or a bike or you know, maybe even like something like a motorcycle or something, right? That's going to cost a couple $100 or $1,000 or whatever. Have a way to take credit cards because that way somebody can purchase it right on the spot and they don't have to go back home and get money, go to the bank, that kind of thing. So if you have a way to take credit cards, and one of the systems that I use is called propay.com, and I'll put a link in the description, but it is $39.95 a year. And you know, and if you think about it, if you say, okay, well, I only use this once. Well, if you've got a big ticket item that you're trying to sell for, you know, $500 or something, $39.95 is worth the expense to have someone buy your item right then instead of having to go home and come back with the money. So I hope that makes sense to you because, hey, we're a digital society. You know, we're really not walking around with a bunch of cash anymore. So having a way to take credit cards is definitely just makes you just okay. And it's something that you can do over the computer. You don't have to have a little swiper thingy either. You'll just be able to go in and charge the account while they're there. As long as you got some Wi-Fi, life is good. Okay, well, I don't have all day because it is 7 o'clock and I gotta get busy, okay? Because I'm very excited. We are getting rid of some things. You know, like I said, my kids are growing, so we're moving out old stuff so we can bring in new stuff. And you know what? I have got to share this with you, okay? So I work from home, right? So I'm spending a lot more time at home than I did when I was working outside of the home. And I'm just finding that there's a lot of stuff that we could probably get rid of. And this is super cool. So that's one of the main reasons we're having this yard sale. But hey, if you want to know what I do, that I'm able to stay at home and work from home full time, click on the link below, put in your email address, find out what I'll do. I'll see you on the other side. Bye.